Welcome to the 25th Hour podcast, where successful business owners talk about the magic of creating a 25th hour every day. I'm your host, Lisa Malice, time strategist and owner of Impactive Strategies. And today, my guest is Leah Hadley. She's the founder of Great Lakes Divorce Financial Solutions and Great Lakes Investment Management. Leah started her journey in financial services as an administrative assistant and worked her way up to a publishing senior equity research analyst in just 6 years. While on the job, she learned how to select investments and build portfolios. And at home, she learned how to manage a family budget as well as balance short-term and long-term personal goals. Now, Leah is an accredited financial counselor, a certified divorce financial analyst, and a master analyst in financial forensics. And she uses all of this knowledge and 15 years of experience to help her clients make wise financial decisions so they can begin the next phase of life with the strongest possible financial foundation. And who does not want that? So welcome to the show, Leah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Lisa.
Oh, I am super excited that you're here. And so I want to jump right in. I'm going to ask you the toughest question ever, which really is not the toughest question ever. But what I'm wondering is, you know how some days it just feels like you can get everything done and everything goes according to plan. You're in the zone. It's all a beautiful space. Can you tell me about one of those days you've had?
That's really funny, Lisa. I have 3 kids and I run 2 businesses. I don't know that a day like that exists.
All right, maybe not a full day, but a part. And I know you. And for those of you watching this podcast, I know right now that Leah has had many of these days and parts of these days. She's not giving herself enough credit. Tell me about part of a day that's been this way.
I'm kidding. I mean, I think generally speaking, I do like to create routine and structure in my work and in my family too, for that matter. But this whole pandemic has thrown me for a loop. So I feel like those days are few and far between now. But a day when things are going well, I'm kind of following the routine and structure that I've set for myself. It's getting up and having breakfast, and now we're all having breakfast together, and really starting my workday prepared already with a lot of thought put into what's going to be on my plate for that day. So, knowing exactly what I'm going to complete for the day, as well as having my appointments scheduled in advance and prepared for, nowadays working less and less, which has been awesome, and having time at home to have dinner together and time with the family and just let work be and go when I leave for the day.
And how do you choose what is going on your plan for tomorrow?
So I have to prioritize things. There's so many different things that are always calling for my attention that I really have to look and see what's most important. And it could be what's most important from a business perspective, but really everything that I do revolves around my family and putting my family first. And so it starts with what I need to do as a mom. And then goes to, from a business perspective, what's most important. I have to say that I do give my assistant an incredible amount of credit for helping me stay focused and taking off the things off my plate that I shouldn't be focused on so that I really can prioritize. She's really supportive in that way.
So how do you decide what it is that you should be focusing on versus what you shouldn't? So what are some of the things that the assistant has taken out of your plate?
So really looking at anything that is not client-facing, anything that's not something where I'm interacting directly with clients or doing work where really it's just my expertise that's required. But anything that anybody can do, somebody else can do that is administrative, marketing related, All of those things at this point in my business, I'm delegating completely.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yay!
thank you. I've come a long way.
And you do it so well. I'm so excited for you. Talk a little bit more about the work that you do with clients. Tell us more about that.
So I work with clients in a variety of different capacities. When I work with people who are going through a divorce, I either serve as a financial advocate for them or as a neutral. So as a financial neutral, I might be working with the couple and helping them to maximize their marital state, minimize the cost of the divorce itself, as well as minimize the financial impact of the financial choices that they're making. So a lot of people don't realize that one of the highest costs of a divorce actually has more to do with some of the choices that they're making and less to do with things like attorney's fees and stuff like that. And so I help them to understand, number one, what are we looking at from a financial perspective? And then what's the best way to divide assets so both people can really start the next phase of their life with the strongest possible foundation. When I'm working with as an advocate, I'm really working with that one client and helping them to maximize their financial foundation outside, into the next chapter of their life. But I also work with a lot of people who aren't going through a divorce with general financial planning and investment management. And so with those clients, it's a lot of fun. It's looking at what do they want to accomplish in their lives, and helping them to create a plan to get there. And what financial decisions need to be made along the way. And I get to do a lot of celebrating with people who get their first house or get their next house, or get that next promotion that they've been working toward. Huge celebrations when it comes to planning for retirement and celebrating that aspect. But I also go through the difficult times in life with people as well. So, a lot of financial challenges, whether it's job loss of a loved one, like I mentioned before, going through a divorce, really helping people through navigating all the financial issues that go along with those things.
And by focusing on what you do best,
Mm-hmm.
which is serving your clients and spending your time doing the financial piece of that and the planning piece of that and the mediation piece of that, and moving stuff over to your assistant, do you find that it gives you more time to serve more clients or more time to spend with family or a combination, or what has that allowed you?
Yeah, it's allowed my business to grow significantly without meaning that I'm working more, right? Like I'm working really in my zone of genius now. So the time that I'm putting in is so much more valuable for my clients, where I'm, delegating tasks that quite frankly, there are other people who could do better in some cases than me, especially when it comes to marketing and writing. And so it's really allowed me to have a lot more free time to spend with my kids, time to spend with my family, while still being able to serve more people and making a bigger impact, which has been really exciting for me, because at the end of the day, the reason I went into business and started the business is to be able to really, truly help people reach their financial goals. And so I want to be able to have a wide reach, but my bandwidth I was maxing out for a little bit there. And so delegating was really key to being able to grow and reach more people.
So you've shared that delegating is one of those strategies that you've used to be able to have those days where you're like, I'm in it. I'm in the zone. I'm doing the work that I love. I'm in my zone of genius. You've also shared structure, knowing what your priorities are. Anything else that you've done from a time management productivity perspective that's allowed you, like you said, to increase your bandwidth?
Yeah, really taking advantage of technology. Technology has been really important. I will be honest and say it did take me a little while to let technology take care of certain things. But even simple things like scheduling and just having people be able to just hop on my website, schedule directly with me, that saves a tremendous amount of time for them and me, right? So they can just look on my calendar and get a time scheduled, which is really nice. when it comes to financial planning, there's some really great tools out there that can allow me to get even deeper into some of people's goals and options and looking at various scenarios in a really efficient way. So, I mean, I can build out Excel spreadsheet after spreadsheet looking at different scenarios, but the fact of the matter is at this point, that's so inefficient with all the different tools that are out there.
Now, do you ever find that you delegate finding tools?
Yes. Not even just finding tools, but like tell me what exactly I need to know about them and making adjustments to the tools that I have. So I actually just brought on another team member who I'm super excited about. But it was, quick message to my VA. Hey, I just hired this person. Let's get her set up and you're on it now. And she knows what she needs to do, right? She needs to set her up with all these tools and whatnot. But yeah, so definitely managing that piece of it is not part of what I do.
Right? I just did the same. I said, all right, we have this podcast going. I need, like, it's here now. It needs to go somewhere. I don't exactly know what that means. I don't think I need to know what that means. Please go figure that out and then come back to me with the answers.
Right.
Right? It's like, I don't have to know it all.
Exactly.
I just have to know what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me more about your team. So who all do you have on your team now?
So the most recent hire is another financial analyst. So that is going to allow me to support, even more people, but also allow me to kind of work on the business more than in the business. So I've just really grown so much that I need another me at this point to help out with some of that stuff. So I have her, which I'm really excited about. I have my VA. I have a copywriter. I have a graphic designer who I work with, and I'm actually launching a new brand here in the next couple of months. So I have brought in a marketing specialist who's been supporting me through that process.
Fantastic. Are you allowed to tell us yet about your new brand, or is it still?
Sure. No, I would love to. It's called Watch Her Thrive. And it is all about meeting women where they are at. So right now, a lot of people have an idea in mind about when do you contact a financial advisor. You have to either have a certain number of amount of assets or a certain level of need, if you will. So this is really about starting at the very beginning of somebody who maybe thinks that they're not good with money or is uncomfortable reaching out for help. And it's about creating a support container for that woman to help her learn financial literacy, to be able to develop the skills she needs to manage her money on her own, and not even need to reach out to us. And so it's really about taking the shame out of and the embarrassment out of feeling like you can't do it, because the fact of the matter is you can. And I feel very, very strongly about that. So this is really about giving women the tools that they need to start out on their own. And then when they're ready to reach out to us, they can reach out to us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Who would have thought? Oh, and when we talk about expanding your bandwidth, this allows you to do it even more.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be through digital products. It's going to be through online education. It's going to be through group programming. So it really does allow me to be able to reach a much broader audience and have a much bigger impact. But you're right, without stretching myself thinner.
Right. Yeah. Right. You're moving from a one-to-one and then adding in that one-to-many model.
Right.
So that you can impact so many more lives. Yay. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. So let's pretend for a second that all this stuff that you're doing with the choosing your priorities and delegating and using tech to its advantage and all of that, let's pretend that if you counted up all that time, it allowed you to save an extra hour every day. So in effect, you've created your 25th hour. How would you like to spend it? How would you deliberately, intentionally want to spend that extra hour every day?
I want to spend it with my kids. I mean, that is the whole reason that I'm in a business where I have the flexibility to create the life that I want, is to spend it with my kids. And so I would love to be able to take more vacations, and that is definitely the direction that I'm headed in, to be able to just really spend more time together as a family. They grow up so fast, and I know that this time is so limited. I mean, I just see every birthday just keeps coming, right? And they're growing up. And so for me, that's what it's all about. It's about maximizing my time so that way I can spend it with my family.
And tell me more, what type of vacations?
So we love to go camping, but like glamping. So in a in a nice cabin. I love, doing the fires at night and like cooking on the grill and hiking. I don't love sleeping in a tent. My youngest son and I last summer, we went to Cub Scout camp, and there were these huge snakes in the tents, and that is not my style. So in a cabin with a bed. But yeah, outside, I love being by the lake, running a boat and spending time on the water. The kids like to fish, so doing that kind of stuff.
As you said, camping, like inside of me was like, oh. And then you expand it to include glamping, and now I'm all in. We went once to one of our kids was turning a milestone birthday. I forget what. And we went whitewater rafting, and we drove past a perfectly good hotel so that we could go camp in these yucky tents. And I remember thinking, these people are all weird. Like, why would you do that? So thank you for adding glamping, because it was good.
My ex-husband is from Peru, and when you grow up in an impoverished country, I think your perception on the world is just very different, right? And he cannot for the life of him understand why anybody would choose to sleep outside. It's like, you're so fortunate to have a bed and have a place to stay inside. Why?
Why would you choose that? Yes, I can totally relate to his point of view so much. So tell me, how would people get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is directly on one of my websites. There's buttons to schedule a call all over the website. And I always do free calls with everybody to make sure that we are a great fit and that I can really support you. I also have a wealth of resources available. And so I love to just provide resources to people if that's what they need and they're looking for. So if you're going through a divorce, the best way to reach out is at Great Lakes, D as in divorce, F as in financial, S as in solutions.com. So greatlakesdfs.com. And then if you're looking for traditional financial planning and investment management, it's greatlakesinvestment.com. And then lastly, I would say through my free Facebook group, which is Moms Managing Money. On Facebook, you just search Moms Managing Money. I'm in there to provide support to people who are just looking to manage their money better. So people who have questions, it's an open forum. I provide lots of free resources in there, and it's a great way to connect.
Ooh, I love the idea of that Facebook group for support and financial resources. When you talk about people being a good fit, what are some, or that you can best serve, that you can best support? Like, if I'm sitting here listening to this right now and I'm like, I wonder if that's for me. What are some things that they would know? Oh yeah, I should call Leah.
Yeah, so I help people with financial questions, and I get a little bit of confusion, I think, when people are going through a divorce. So a lot of times the first thing people think is attorney, right? Like, I need to contact an attorney. So sometimes there is some confusion. I am not an attorney. I provide financial guidance and financial support, mediation services, so not legal services. So if somebody's contacting me and what I feel like they really need is an attorney, then I'm going to tell them and I'm going to make some recommendations to them. But when they contact me, the kinds of things that I support them with are the financial questions that are keeping you up at night. Like, can I really afford to stay in this house? I don't understand this pension. Am I making the right decision? I do a lot with pensions when it comes to divorce. And then on the financial planning and investment management, again, it's all about helping people to move forward with their finances. So there's not like a certain level of assets that they need to have, but we need to be talking about goals and creating momentum and how to reach those goals. So if you're just kind of treading water and you're happy with where you're at, I'm probably not the right person. But if you're really looking for how do I best move forward, how do I do it in an efficient way, and how do I do it in a cost-effective way, then I love helping people.
I know you do. Like, you just know, looking at you, like, yes, this is what I love to do. I have found my place in the world and I'm darn good at it. And you are. Have you found anything? So as we're recording this right now, it is June. So for those of you who may watch this months and years later, we're in June of 2020, towards the beginning-ish of the pandemic. Have you found that people are asking for certain advice based on the time that we're in at the moment?
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually, so it's interesting. When the pandemic first really, like, things started to close down and people were starting to, be quarantined in their homes and things like that, it was like nobody called me about a divorce. Like, literally, I would probably say 6 weeks, like, I didn't get one phone call about a divorce. Now, sitting here in June, things are opening back up. I think people have spent a lot of time together, and in some cases in very unhealthy situations. And they're realizing that, this can happen again. And I don't necessarily want to be stuck in the same place with this person again. And so there are a lot of people who are reaching out and trying to figure out, is this the right time to resolve the issues that we need to terminate the marriage? Because this was not a good place for us to be in for the last couple of months. And that's really unfortunate, but I think it's also really healthy because people are realizing that it can be a better situation for themselves. And so a lot of the calls lately really have been in difficult divorce situations where it's a difficult relationship. The other calls that I got more immediately when the market dropped, right? Like overnight, over a 2-week period, the market dropped. And I think especially for those who missed the drop in late 2018, when then the market kind of bounced back pretty quickly after that, we're like, hey, is this a time to put some money to work? And I've had number of new investment clients over the last couple of months since we saw that dip in the market. And, it's come back significantly. I think there's going to be a whole lot more volatility going forward because we haven't seen how this is all going to impact corporate profitability and, ultimately how that's going to impact the stock market longer term. We've seen this very short term right now. And this is the time when there's a lot of market volatility for people who don't necessarily have a close relationship with their financial advisor, where they're reaching out and they're saying, you know what, I want to make sure that I'm taken care of and taken care of well during this time. And then lastly, the other group of people are those that have found themselves in a difficult financial situation because of a job loss or some other major change in circumstance as a result of the pandemic, whether it's reduced hours. There's a lot of different things that I've seen, and they're reaching out for help. And what I love about that, it's such a hard time that they're going through, but I love that I've been able to get the message out there that I'm here and that there's somebody there to support you when you're going through these difficult times, and that they know to reach out. And so for me, from a business perspective, it felt really good to find people who, hey, I've been following you for a while and I need help now. And they knew to reach out. And I love that because that's what I'm here to do. So
right,
that's what I'm seeing.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. And it's interesting how your different businesses saw a slower time and a not at all slower time at different times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was tough, especially when the kids first started staying home and we weren't in a great rhythm with the schoolwork yet. And I was getting all this influx of investment business. It was like, it was stressful. I'll be honest, it was stressful. But I got the kids into a routine and, got the clients onboarded and we were able to work through it. And it's been great. It's really been good that I've been able to serve people during this time. But There was a minute there where I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Right? You're like, I'm gonna go on hiatus for a short amount of time. I'm taking sabbatical. I'll be back when things even out. And then you're like, oh no, wait, that won't work. What I need is what I serve is so needed. Let me come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And especially when the market was going down, I reach out proactively to all of my clients that have invested assets with me. And so it was literally talking to every single client on my roster, in addition to having new people come in. So it was
right. And having your kids do their schoolwork and having a life. And yes, that was, as you know, I have a number of financial advisors, financial planners who are clients, and that was absolutely, because I'm fortunate enough to work with people who are definitely service oriented, and say they were doing what you were doing. They were trying to reach out first to put people at ease. And it was a lot in a very short period of time.
Exactly.
So shout out to you, Leah. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. And I highly, highly encourage you to reach out to Leah. Check her out at Great Lakes Financial. She is so awesome and amazing. So make sure that you check her out. And if you enjoyed today's podcast and you want to create that 25th hour in your day every day, then check out the 2-minute quiz at impactivestrategies.com/quiz for a couple ideas.